Shankarananda. Salutation to Sri Shankarananda is the name of the master, of the author of this text. But salutation is more important. Obviously, the master means ignorance to wisdom. Guru Padam Bhujanmane, to the lotus feet of the Guru at any cost. At any cost. I won't allow my false I to take over me. Why? It is a great spiritual mistake that I make, and it will prevent me recognition and awakening to the real self. Savilas Mahamoha Grahya Grasik Karmani, addressing the great play of delusion we have discussed many a times. You are relaxed and calm, but still you don't know who you are. There are delusion. You are in stress, you don't know who you are in a delusion. So these two examples found prominence in our daily life and activities. It becomes a monster of delusion. So why we are studying the text? First, to get absorbed into meditation. Second is to bring an end to the suffering. Third is awakening to the reality, the absolute reality. Why it is absolute? After which there is no knowledge left. After that, there is no knowledge left. So just check that body is still. Just check. I gave this practice to Anne Hoffman, and she loved it and she changed it. So what I said, S means still your mind by being aware of peace, aware of place, position, and posture. I'm making you understand. And being comfortable. Being comfortable means sensation, comfort, and steadiness, and then being aware. You become aware. Aware of what? Observer and observed. Observed. Can I say something very interesting? I know I am. That is one. I am. Hence, I know it. Deep inside. Clear? Now I am attending a session. It will finish. But still, what continues? Pay attention. What continues? I am, I know it. Session has come and gone. Same way. Anxiety. Anxiety has a starting point and a finishing point. Do you think or can you prove? I am and I know it continues. It has no starting point. It has no finishing point. Whether we are in stress, you get married. So marriage has a starting and a finishing point. but behind I am and I know it continues. That is why we divorce. And even after divorce, I am and I know it continues. But I cannot make, I do not remain aware of it. Why? Delusion. That is the silent acronym. Now just look at it. I means in white. In white, it invite the divine within. That means to rise in awareness. To rise in awareness of what? To rise in awareness of what? It is a fact. I am, I know it. If I am not there, if I am not there, and I do not know it, where the stress? Where is the stress? Where is the marriage? Where is the anxiety? Where is any activity? Every activity has a starting point and a finishing point. It is like the waves of an ocean. All our thought, speech, and action. All our thought, speech, and action begins, ends. Begins and ends. Do you think that this I am and I know it also ends? No. So the L letter means let go. Let go of what starts and finish. Why? To reveal I am, I know it. What we continue? What we continue unnecessarily has a starting and the finish points. Then what happens? It takes me to the past. We are learning the highest wisdom in the simplest possible manner. Take me to the past, then you have prarabdha, then you have past impressions, then your mind becomes crazy, and then intellect is polluted, and so let go. But why we don't want to go? Oh, because of attachments. So the master says, embrace. Let go after that E word. Embrace the present moment. Embrace the present. That present moment, why we talk about the present moment? I am and I know it. Is always there. Is always there. It neither becomes the past nor the future. It remains present. So there is a secret meaning when we say present moment. It is present. It is present in all activities of start and finish point. That is the meaning of present. So what we should do, the next letter is the nurture the inner peace found behind the present moment. How to nurture? Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. And that self-remembering is mindfulness. That self-remembering is mindfulness. And then we have to teach this to the mind again and again until we reach to the highest point. Leave this. Open your eyes. Now follow with me. I am. I know it. This is one truth. I am giving a lesson to you. It has a starting point, it has a finishing point. After that I am and I know it. Did it die? No, it is always there. I get excited. I say you are crazy. So it has a starting point, it is a finishing point, but I am and I know it still exists. If it does not exist, how do I know that I am crazy? How do I know that I am giving a lesson? How do I know that I am speaking? I am. Pay attention. I know it. It continues at the deepest level. Have you seen? We say, what is the ultimate reality in science? We say quantum. No, but I see the solid. No. After understanding quantum, I know this solid is also the quantum. So the solid, the wall continues to exist, but I know what is the truth. Apply the same. I know I am, or I know I am, it means first I know. I know means I'm conscious, means I'm pure consciousness. And then I am. Or you start with I am, it is existence. I know the existence, it is Sat Chit. What we say, Sat Chit Anand. So when I say I know, I am, or I know, then I could see consciousness is all pervading, like that everything is quantum. Don't talk about the galaxies and the earth and the planet. That is how the science. So entire Eastern wisdom is the journey of the ultimate reality. But why? Why should I find it? Ultimate reality is what? Knowledge. Today I said that we are talking little higher aspects, so I have a chance to go down if you don't understand. So you see that? What I am and I know it. Ultimate reality. So why ultimate reality? My intellect will settle in the knowledge of the ultimate reality. My knowledge, my intellect will settle into the ultimate knowledge. So what will happen? When there is an anxiety, I know it comes and it goes. Stress, it comes and goes. Marriage, it happens. It has a starting and a finishing point. So they remain at the surface level, they remain as the wave. And I am abiding in ocean, I am abiding in ultimate knowledge. So when I am abiding in knowledge, that is what is known as the awakening and realization. So how it brings to an end to this? Nothing dissolves. You want to go to the store to buy your shirt. What is the first ultimate cause of the shirt? Thread, cotton. or nylon or synthetic, whatever you say. Yeah. So you don't go to the shop and you don't say, "Oh, give me cotton." You still continue to say, "I want to see the shirt. I want to see the trouser. Ah, here is my husband. Here is my everything is there." But internally, I am aware. I am fully aware. What I am aware? I am, and I know it. So don't say when I say so, because I know the reality of the shirt, which is made up of the thread, does not mean the shirt dissolves, because the now this reality of the shirt is falsified by the thread. What is the cause of the thread? Cotton. From where the cotton grows, the cause of the cotton, earth. Without water, cotton cannot grow, so water becomes the cause. The heat and the light, the sun becomes the cause. The air becomes the cause. The space becomes the cause. Where lives the space? Space lives in the mind. What is the cause of the mind? And ultimately we find I am, I know it. Can I live into that state all the time? All the time means except the sleeping state. In the sleeping state, the moment we wake up, I am and I know it. I existed in the sleep. If the intellect does not know that I existed in the sleep, I cannot remember what happened yesterday. I will forget my relationship with the people. I will forget the entire world. So I don't die in sleep. Again, I am stressing. I am. And I know it. That is one way to say. Or you can start with I know, knowing. I'm conscious, I'm aware. So I'm conscious. When I say I know, I'm conscious. But how I am conscious? Because I'm consciousness. And this consciousness exists. I know it. That is Satya. I am, I know it continues throughout all the activities. And those activities of thought, speech, action, anger, anxiety, stress, pleasure, attachment, detachment, they live on the surface. How can I say? Can you simply say attachment? Unless you add with I, but you are adding with a false. That is the problem. You are not going into the ultimate cause. What is the ultimate cause? I am and I know it. It does not change. You divorce, I am and I know it. The divorce took place. It has a starting point, it is a finish. Marriage, starting point, finishing point. Eating, starting point, finishing point. If I continues to exist, can you give me any activity, any thought where you continues? The answer is no. Why no? Because they belong to the mind, not to me. Think. If you are doing a regular contemplation and reflection, you will reach to that ultimate reality. It becomes a meditative state. You live in constant awareness of I am, I know it, that is unchanging, that is permanent, that is pure consciousness. On the surface, all the rest of the activities are just, starting point and finishing point of this lesson will come after a few more minutes. So, when there is a starting point and a finishing point, and the mind creates a false I, the false I attached with the body, and it says that body has taken birth at this time, it will die at this time. But behind body changes in the body, I know I am. Even when you say I'm old, I know I am. This I know and I am is the same when you first became aware of I am. It is still the same. That is the role of the intellect in overcoming impulsive reactions. That is what we discussed. That is what we discussed last time. Means it fosters self control, emotional regulation, it stabilizes the mind, it brings an emotional stability, relationship quality, it brings a change in your behavior, it strengthens your resilience in self control, it reduces the delusion. So I'm using what this master is teaching to show you the impact of the journey of the self-discovery from this master. So our master says we should have a common sense approach. The intellect, why common sense approach? Intellect illuminates ignorance. The fundamental cause of this suffering, ignorance consists of not knowing one's true nature. What is that true nature? I am and I know it. It is always there. You cannot deny it. You cannot refuse it. You cannot reject it. Just reject. When you say I reject it, you have used I. That is the base I. I know I am. Even in rejection, I am, I know it. Even in acceptance, I am and I know it. I am and I know it that I have rejected you. I know that I know it. I am and I know it because I have accepted. In both the cases, I am and I know. I know I am married. I know I am divorced. I know I am remarried, etc., etc., etc. I know I am. Then comes the anxiety. Then comes the stress. Then comes the marriage. Then comes all the activities. So the intellect illuminates ignorance, the fundamental cause of the suffering. Ignorance consists of, now we are understanding, ignorance consists of not knowing one's true nature. That is the first aspect. Second aspect, it mistakes the body mind ego complex for I am. Body, mind, ego, complex, unit, or I am. But I want to continue forever. But the body, mind, ego keep on changing. So I have an anxiety, I have a reaction, I have a fear, I have a duality, I have a conflict. So because I have not studied the Eastern wisdom, so what happens? My mind goes back that this I am the body, I am the mind, I am the ego. So ignorance consists of first, not knowing my true nature. Because I don't know true nature, but my intellect always uses a personal I, so it takes for granted that it is body, mind, ego complex for myself. Then now further expanded through the intellect. So I misidentify permanent peace with the temporary sensory experiences. Then I'm started running because I feel a sense of incompleteness. Why? Because I am the body mind complex. So I have a binding desire. So binding desire means that I am projecting happiness in the thing outside. So I'm misidentifying permanent peace and happiness with the transient sensory experiences. So it means I accept the false conditioning as the truth. Very simple, but one has to follow a systematic approach to reach to that state of what? I said, I am and I know it. It is still there. It is still there while listening. If it is not there, you are not listening to me. Does it change? No. It does not change. What changes the mind and the intellect has changed. So it means by knowing this, by learning the Eastern wisdom, the mind removes the dirt and dust that is accumulated on the mind. And then I reach to the same point. I am and I know it. 200. Just take it. Dennis will correct me the year. 200 years ago, we said that this matter consists of the atom only. We were ignorant. We were ignorant totally, even in the scientific community. 200 years ago, matter was nothing but a quantum energy, but I didn't know it. So misidentification is there. I'm comparing simultaneously so that you will understand. Cotton, it is made up of the cotton. Every cloth is made up of cotton. But what is the cause of the cotton? It is grown. Where it is grown? Earth element. How? Without water. So water is the cause. No, then heat, light is the cause. Then air is the cause. Then the space is the cause. The space lives in the mind. And the mind? Can your mind exist if you don't say I am and I know it? So the ultimate cause is I am and I know it. That is what the absolute existence consciousness bliss is. It is not impacted, it is not affected, it is not carried away by the mind, by the ego, by the anxiety, by the stress, by whether you marry, you divorce, whether you are a vegetarian or non vegetarian, you are abiding in the higher spiritual consciousness. I told you from New Jersey. Sir, I have left beef. I said, very good. So in the next session after a week, she told me it's very difficult to leave the beef. So I started eating. I said, very good. So why you said very good in the first instant and the second? Because I know I am. Is not impacted by what you do. So from there, now you see, I am and I know it. It is still there. It is at present, it is there. It continued. It continued. It did not change. The moment I started this session until now. See the reality. People sometimes say you are talking of philosophy. No, not philosophy, practical. From there, they went deep into it. They contemplated and reflected, perhaps in the Himalayas in alone. So they found out. Now they see that. Let us see what happens. He says the false continues to exist like the necklace and the ring, golden ring and the golden necklace. Gold does not change. You can reshape the ring into a necklace, you can reshape the necklace into the ring. It does not change. I am and I know it does not change. It does not change. You made me crazy. It has already, you are identifying with the body, mind, and ego complex. And still behind it, I am and I know it still exists. Are you understanding what I am saying? That does not. You reshape the ring into a necklace, the gold, the essence of the gold still exists. Gold did not undergo any change. But taking the gold has undergone a change when your ring is reshaped into a necklace is your ignorance. All I explained you. It is not knowing one's true nature. It is mistaking the body-mind ego complex. It is misidentifying permanent peace. It is accepting the false conditioning as the real. That is what happened. False conditioning. Husband is the real. Wife is the real. Son is the real. Situation, condition, reflected as an incident into my life, consider as a real, but I miss, I am, I know it, and then the life is full of anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict, suffering. Think. We have to contemplate and think. My master always used to say think. But basic principle is discernment. And when you have a discernment, you already reached to a state of dispassion. From there, our masters have found out that now you have to start the journey. So just they declare the real self is unchanging, luminous, and ever free. Why it is luminous? Conscious. The unreal self is the body, mind, and ego, ever shifting and uncertain. So if it is uncertain, intellect is also uncertain, then it picks up the attachment from the mind. It says, my intellect says, okay, this attachment is the real. Then I start running outside. I enter into anxiety, duality, and a conflict, and I'm suffering. It is so simple. Common sense. Confusing the unreal for the real causes the suffering. Am I right? Say yes. Confusing the false for the real causes the suffering. No, I cannot tolerate my wife, my honey told me this. Behind that I know and I am does not change. It is still as it is. Why don't you abide there? When you abide there, your problem is gone. Now use the intellect to build a relationship rather than destroying it. True wisdom is to recognize what is unchanging amid change. What is, so you can find out the unchanging reality, that is the meaning of existence, is present all the time in everything, in every human being, in all the living species, in everything, material or non material. And because it is all I am and I know it, I am is existence, I know it, consciousness, existence, consciousness, everyone is there. The true wisdom is to recognize what is unchanging amid change. If there is something that is unchanging, it has to be one or two. Tell me. It has to be one only. If it is two, then it means that they both are changing. One is not two and two is not one. And if it is one, then it is all pervading. If it is two, it means it is changing. Then the intellect will go to one and intellect will go to two, and it will recognize it is one is not two and two is not one. It means they both are different. They both are different, it means there is a change. Awakening begins when your mind, your intellect shifts from the golden necklace to the gold, from the waves to the water, from the skyscrapers, your home, my home, highway to the infinite space. Without space, you cannot imagine. This is what the master is saying. That's why master says you don't need any practice. You need a clear understanding only. When you understand this, you see that. Because we are searching the subjective reality, we have to use the metaphor, parables, so that our intellect becomes aware of myself, what is false and what is real. In modern science, you have a protocol, you can prove it, find out the variable, invariable factors, do the experiment, apply the statistics, and ultimately you find what is the cause. When your intellect when your intellect, I'm repeating again, when your intellect is aware of the story every day that is unfolding, and you recognize that you are not the story unfolding, you are the screen it unfolds upon. So all the story giving the lesson is unfolding on I am, I know it. Your level of understanding is happening, is unfolding on I am, I know it. It is happening on, like the waves happening upon the water. Ring, gold, happening upon the gold. You are not the story unfolding, you are the screen it unfolds upon. So, body may tire, mind may waver, but awareness stays untouched, radiant in the whole. Instead of awareness, I am using the word phrase. I am, I know it. The body may tire, the mind may waver, but I know I am. Stays untouched, radiant in the whole. When you rest as that awareness, when you rest on I am, I know it, fear dissolves, peace becomes your natural state. Every spiritual practice points back to this realization. All the practices of all different civilizations. Whereas the conclusion, the seer is untouched by the seen. I have to abide in that. What we need, discernment, by which I can figure out the real and unreal. Shirt is falsified by knowing it is made up of the cotton. Cotton thread is falsified by the cotton plant. Cotton plant grows on the earth, is falsified by the earth. It does not mean that I don't see it. I see it. I told you that you cannot go to the store and just give me a one ounce of cotton. We continue to live with that transactional reality, but internally I know. It demands a constant, consistent discernment and dispassion to abide in I am and I know it. Without it, all effort gets trapped in the transient, pleasures fade and pain repeat. How long we are going to suffer? Tell me. 50 years, 60 years? I believe everyone is over 50. I'm sorry if no one is over 50, then you are. See it clearly. This hand is moving because ultimate cause is I am and I know it. So the way I know the shirt is made up of the cotton, but the shirt does not dissolve and disappear. Let it continue. Now I know it is a false, so I'm okay. I'm fine. When the unreal fades, where the real shines by its own light. Why the real shines by its own light? It is conscious. The essence is consciousness. What are you holding on to? The chains is too much to be you. Or real self in the false. So this master also says in the 5th or 6th chapter, but I'm using another metaphor. You know, sculptor, the guy who does the sculpting. This is like a stone, you can see a rough stone. The sculptor brings the rough stone and it removes the false assumption by the hammer. That is what we have to do by the intellect. That is exactly, we need not to go anywhere. Think of yourself as a sculptor chiseling away stone to reveal the statue within. I have to reveal that statue of the real self within. By listening, learning, by contemplation, reflection, by practice. Each false assumption you let go. is like removing a layer of the stone, bringing your true nature into a clearer view. But it is not done physically, it has to be done intellectually. You cannot scratch your skin and say, let me find out the real self. The process is very subtle. It has to follow the principles of Eastern wisdom step by step, and you reach there. And you declare that I am the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Finish. What is the big statement? It can be bridged into one phrase: I am and I know it. I am, I know it. I see you through my sense organ because the senses borrowed the consciousness from the mind. So I'm going to the ultimate cause. Yes, the mind through the sense organ recognized your name, your gender, and the rest of the details. No, let me move inside. So behind the mind there is a I know and I am. Because I am not the mind. So there is behind I am, I know it. So that is the real self. What is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom? Beauty. What is the beauty? We don't add more belief, but we remove the false ones. We don't add any belief. Have you seen in yoga studio, first believe and then you know. That is another part of the belief. You are already living in ignorance, so you have to start from somewhere. But this, we are studying a higher level. We don't need any more belief. We remove all the false belief. False assumptions about happiness. See? False assumption about anxiety. You made me crazy, really? Because you converted event with you into an incident because of your unmet expectations. I am suffering from anxiety. You are not at all responsible. If I say Ashok is jumping into the session and leaving it, it is not Ashok. It may be internet. He has joined a couple of times and he left. Do you see? That is the language that we use. But if I am aware, I know I am aware. Finished. Conditioning shapes how we see the world and ourselves. True freedom comes from questioning inherited belief. You always does like this. Your habit is like this. Hold on. Mind, my mind, don't say this. Why you are sticking on his or her habit? Let me change myself. Let me move with the clarity. Let me move with the humility. Let me see if I can be a change. So if you explore it, what do you find? You are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your past, you are, I know I am behind them. I am using the phrase I am and I know. I'm replaced with another word that we normally say, awareness. You are the awareness behind them. What is behind? I know I am, or I am, or I know it. Either way, it will work. By questioning every assumption, especially those that bring suffering, you begin to see the truth. Freedom is not about becoming something new, but uncovering what has already been there, untouched by time, or events, or incidents, or space, or etc. See another perspective. You are removing the false assumption, means you are recognizing and releasing belief that limits your real nature. What is that real nature? I know I am. It limits. So, why it limits? When it limits, I feel the sense of incompleteness. So, when I feel the sense of incompleteness, I want to be complete. So, I find only one option to run after the world. Honey, I love you. You no one, no honey loves anyone. I can tell you frankly. That love is purely an attachment. Don't tell your partner, but I'm just telling you. I am and I know it. When that you recognize the love in it, then you love everyone. Before that, it is all attachment. No, 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 I really love. So you love. Don't you have differences? Don't you have anxiety in love? Yes. It means it is not love, it is your attachment. Don't tell me. So your so-called love is your assumption, and assumption creates suffering and prevent clarity. I have to ask myself, is this belief serving me? Is this true? Over time, this questioning dissolves mental clutter. Again, Ashok appear. So if you assume I am not enough, if you assume I am not enough, observe that this is a conditioned thought, not your presence. It is simply a thought. I'm into anxiety. This is simply a thought. Behind it, I know and I am. Come on. That does not change. If it changes, then tell me. Next day, when you are calm, you are still aware, or you can say, still, I am and I know it without any change. Anxiety became the past, reaction became the past, anger becomes the past. So it means what you assume I am not enough is a conditioned thought, it is not your essence. When you say I am into anxiety, it is a conditioned thought, it is not you. When I say I am in stress, it is your conditioned thought, it is not you at all. I believe you understand. You have recognized I started the journey today with I am and I know it. I was sitting in a restroom and I know I am. I'm independent of going into the restroom and returning from it. I am different and separate from giving a lesson to you. Is gold not different from the ring? Is gold not different from the necklace? So, by the subtler knowledge, we falsify the existing knowledge of the wave to the water. That is another way of contemplation and reflection in our remove the false means the true reveals itself. What assumption is ready to fall away from you today, you find you are living. You need not to find that, that you have to, oh, did I, now am I living in peace? You are already there. You're already there. That is the beauty of the teaching of this great master in 15 chapters. Once you complete all the 15 chapters, you cannot be the same person again. I can bet you cannot remain the same person again. Because those thoughts from this master will haunt you. Why you are in anxiety? What happened? It's a false belief. Why you are reacting? No, hold on. You so-called, you hear the inner voice. That inner voice is deconditioning. Otherwise, what happens? The suffering perpetuates through the repetitive cycle of desire, attachment, pleasure, pain. Ignorance fuels the desire. Ignorance of what? I am and I know it. And karma preserves these impressions, causing continual dissatisfaction. I will do this, I will do that. By any action, if you can find the permanent peace, give me also that action, I will also do it. By any action. Not possible. It is only through the knowledge and understanding. That is why we did the silent practice. You see that the ring, necklace, they change their form. The gold is the essence, remains constant. That I am and I know it remain constant. It does not change. Even when I am giving a lesson with the false I. Where is that false I? Body, mind, complex, and ego. Behind it is still present. You see, that is what leads us to awakening. That is what we need to. That is why this master says you have to listen to these principles, contemplate and reflect. You can break the cycle. Requires what cycle of suffering. Requires an intellectual recognition of the futility of chasing external happiness, developing discernment and letting go of attachment. Thus you anchor peace and awareness of impermanence. Our inability to do so causes the suffering in relationship, causes the suffering in our daily life. Because the intellect is limited by these conditionings created by the incidents. Who created that incident? I. Because I converted that event into an incident. Why? Because sense of incompleteness was there inside me. I wanted to meet unmet expectations from the event. That is how I converted that event into an incident, and I am suffering days after days, weeks after weeks, years after years, without understanding. Now I should stop and let us reflect, and then you listen to it again and again, and then you contemplate and reflect. When you contemplate and reflect, then make it clear, maybe either in your notebook or in your mind notebook. Remember this, what exactly it means. I am and I know it. And can you hold on to this? I am and I know it, or I know I am. Both are the same. Can you hold on to it all the time? You are driving? Yes. Going to sleep, yes. Wake up, sleep. Going to the restroom. That remembrance can lead you to the higher state. Yes, Janice, you want to say something? Ashok, if you are available, you can show us.
I think as we progress on this path, yeah, I think as we progress on this path and the level of our awareness increases, we start recognizing this I am that is separate from all our experiences, that observes but doesn't participate, that always knows but cannot be known. So, for example, when I'm frustrated or in pain, I understand that at the same time there is a different I am that is in peace.
Yes.
And both I's coexist. They exist at the same time. So the peace coexists with suffering. When I recognize this, I get a chance to choose which I to follow, the one in frustration or the one in peace. And if we focus on pain and frustration, the real I that is always in peace continues to exist, but it kind of goes out of scope. It becomes smaller, kind of moves away until it is hardly recognized or not recognized at all, because the focus is on the false I. But if we focus on I am that is in peace, the opposite happens. The I in pain fades, decreases, becomes smaller, moves farther away. So both I's and both corresponding realities, they coexist like matter that feels solid when we touch it, but is nothing but energy when we explore it further. So it is just a matter of our choice which reality to focus on, the one that leads to suffering or the one that is always in peace.
Beautifully said. You see, you have to live into that awareness. One most important expression you, Dennis, gave is that real self, or whatever you say. What is that real self? I am and I know it. What you said does not participate in our daily thought, speech, and action, in our anxiety, stress, and pleasure. Can I say the gold as such does not participate in the formation of a ring? You have a golden ring, you say gold says yes, very good. Necklace, very good. Stolen, very good. You found something new, very good. It does not change. If I stole the golden ring from you, does the gold say that, oh, you have stolen from Jerry, so I will not be with you? Think, think. So the more you think and intellect, the false knowledge is replaced by the real, the subtle, the ultimate cause. And intellect abides by the ultimate reality. You are free from the suffering. Yes, David and Jerry.
Again, thank you very much. The false knowledge is prevalent, and I kind of look at it as it's like a scale with my real self being here and the false knowledge being here. And the more we practice, the more we shift the balance of the scale and get rid of, or not get rid of, but the false knowledge gets overshadowed by my real self, and I feel like we're working towards that. And there's this huge, the more we have of the real self, the more we grow it, and the more diminishment there goes in the false knowledge. So very simplistic, but very powerful. Thank you.
Yes, yes. We live with those false assumptions. Where is the locus? Locus is intellect. So I have to use the intellect to change that locus, to remove the false assumption. I told you, we are not changing the shirt, we are discovering it is made up of the cotton, and ultimately we reach to the ultimate cause. We are not changing the ring to a necklace, we are going to the ultimate cause is the gold. We change the false assumption. Where the false assumption lives, it is in the intellect. I have to change it. And then see what happens. Yes, Jerry.
Thank you, sir. Wow, a lot in there. I really love the way Dennis put it with the I am living with the false I and seeing what's false. And when we abide in that I am, then we don't need to hammer the intellect because we abide there. So the intellect just shines through all of our thoughts and our actions and our words. But until that time, we can hammer the intellect, and we have to, the moment we're blaming, complaining, thinking somebody stole from us, anything like that, because no one can steal our happiness, our peace, our sense of completeness. No one can steal or affect that.
Yes.
So when we abide there, we don't bury our head in the sand. We see the events that are going on, and we put attention there, but it doesn't affect our peace or our happiness or our sense of completeness.
Beautifully, yes. One master in those days gave the same example, that you bury your head in the sand means false assumption. I live with the false assumption that you are responsible for my suffering, that you are the outer world where I am living is the cause of my suffering. That is the meaning of bury your head into the sand. Beautifully said. Yes, Samir, you want to say?
Sir, my personal experience is that our mind is filled with lot of conditioning, thoughts, beliefs, and lot of past impressions, and lot of desires in our mind, unnecessary or necessary. Whatever, we can take it anyway, because till we don't know they are necessary, and we start gaining knowledge, then they become unnecessary. So what Eastern wisdom does, it starts vacating your mind.
Yeah.
Means your mind becomes means एक खाली होता जाता, means it starts vacating your mind, and soon peace and happiness starts taking place of those conditionings and those beliefs. And we never had this kind of experience in our life since we are born. We only know the past conditioning or this. So we are means as we keep emphasis and we put more hard work on that part, we start becoming more wiser, and more we get into more peace and more harmonious life we can live. So it is like that. I think if in a filled glass of water, you cannot put more water. So there should be space for peace in the mind. If we have to create the peace, means we have to create the space for peace in our mind. So as we, with use of knowledge, past impression, we start deleting all the past impression, there is a lot of space, and the peace pops up, and we are means we achieve what we want to achieve in our life.
Beautifully. I will take that metaphor. The glass is full. Means mind is full of the past conditioning, false assumptions, unless we empty it. But how we empty it? Not physically, not by breathing. One guy who is obsessed with the breathing, he said, no, if you give me the breathing practice, I feel relaxed. No, relaxation is already there. Calmness still exists. You are wrong. But it takes hundreds of sessions to make one understand that this breathing is the outcome of the breathing is not calmness. Calmness continues to exist. So when you empty the water from the glass, that emptiness, that is why Buddha says emptiness and mindfulness. Beautifully. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you. There was a lot in there. When we started out, my mind was jumping back and forth from what you're saying to my current and past contemplation reflections on everything. And when you always talk about it's so simple, it's so simple, it's so simple, it like recenters me and brings me back to, okay, let's put this in a structure. So similar to what Dennis said, it helped me to departmentalize what we were doing. And it separated out I am and I know it and my essential nature to sit in one area, along with current being in the moment belongs in that department. And everything else belongs with the false I. And it became very clear to me today of what you've told us in the past, and I think it was Patanjali that says the seer resides in his own essential nature. Yeah. And today's lesson really, I mean, I've seen it. I've told you I've had that written down, but today it makes the most sense to me.
Beautifully said. You use the word structure. I will take that word structure. The entire scientific wisdom is structured. It is organized intellectually first. Do you see that? That is why we have physics, chemistry, different branches. Even in biology, we have separate branches. That structured approach is also required in the Eastern wisdom. Is this really a ring or something else? Is the name in the form of the ring still continues to exist, or so we have given a structure that whatever is changing cannot hold its same name in the form. And what cannot hold the same name in the form, we have labeled it as a false. Why we labeled it as a false? False does not mean the false dissolves. It continues to see. You continue to see the ring as a thing. But now you have the intellect that is abiding in a subtler knowledge. I cannot see the quantum energy here, but my intellect knows it. So the same way, my intellect is now emptied. It's all the conditioning, as the Samir said, and the Dennis and Darian, you all, David said, it emptied the all conditioning. Now I can see clearly. I can see the wall, and I can see the energy. I can see the ring. I can see the gold. Gold is the essence. So when I structure it, you structure in your intellect, your false assumption will dissolve, and you live into that. You live into that simply peace. Why? Because anxiety is not there. Stress is not there. Reaction is not there. Now Terry will come.
I was thinking I am and I know it. I am whether I know it or not. So I know it is the intellect
Okay.
part.
Yes. That is also a good thinking. I am. But whether I know it or I don't know, but there is someone who knows it, and it is the same I am who knows it. So that I am is the existence and I am the consciousness. It is both one. If I say I am, it exists whether I know it and I don't know it. That knowing and don't knowing comes from the consciousness. Do you see? Very subtle. It comes from the same consciousness. I don't know you means what? I'm conscious that I don't know you. I know you. I'm conscious that I know you. You see that? So it comes from the same I am. I am of the nature of existence. I am of the nature of consciousness. And I am of the nature of permanent happiness. But for the sake of teaching and understanding, I use the word I am and I know it. You are Terry and you are, I can address your gender. So they both are essentially one. Terry with particular gender. So yes, Ashok was saying something while the music was running in the background. So let us listen to Ashok.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste,
Sir,
sir.
namaste.
Now music is
Sir,
not running.
सर मैं दिल्ली से आ रहा था तो आई लिसन द लेक्चर बट कुड नॉट सी दैट मेरा कैमरा ही काम नहीं कर रहा था सर
ओके
और
ओके
बेटे ने म्यूजिक चला दिया था तो इसलिए म्यूजिक बंद कर दिया मैंने
अच्छा 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 बेटे ने म्यूजिक चला दिया था
हाँ सर सॉरी फॉर दैट
No, sorry. It's everything is okay in our session. His son started playing the music.
सर मैं एक बात बोलूं?
हाँ ये दो बात बोलो.
सर जब वैष्णो देवी जाती है ना हम लोग, जब वैष्णो देवी जाती है ना सर, तो क्या करती हैं, जब नीचे से चलना शुरू करती हैं तो किसी से पूछो भाई कहाँ है